business.
We'll be back from the break. You're still watching Small Men's Business in Manchuba region, and right now I'm joined with Masi Katsime as we're going to be driving your business this very morning. Quite lots of discussions coming up. Definitely we can note, and of course build much more on the side of the nation address which transferred yesterday, and very many aspects were discussed which are very important in terms of detecting economic growth and development of the country. Uganda, but of course all dwelling onto the year 2022 and with anticipations for the year 2023. But of course, before we get into any further related discussions, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which are going to be opening any time from now soon. Now, for you to be a part of this, simply there, start tonight to hash, and you'll be available with quite a number of options where you can choose to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Yes, 15,000 Ugandan shillings you can buy yourself government bond securities. Now the markets will be opening at 8:15 a.m. closing at 3:15 p.m. and this is effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when the markets are closed. You can access them. But at least despite that, you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits. Something quite very positive in that regard as one of the ways to earn self-side income. Yes, that maybe it's a reality of the risk of excuse as to why you shouldn't own the government bonds and securities. Now it's up says my money, my future, and all this stuff again says do something new. Well, right about now, as we get into our morning call, definitely we shall be dwelling on the presidential speech yesterday when he was addressing the nation, and of course this was matters regarding tourism. What is step that is being put in place that is going to necessitate tourism within the country? Let's get into this discussion all the time.
The best tourism sites, including our national parks of Chidepo, Maxon Falls, Queen Elizabeth, Lake Mburo, Elgon, Rensori, Chibale Forest, Bunyonyi, and many game reserves across the country. Uganda's tourism sites rank highly in international media outlets and global tourism agencies. Despite the global lockdown, we received about 500 tourists in 2021 and revenue of US dollars 530 million. The number of tourists coming here has recovered since the lifting of the COVID-19 lockdowns to 814,000 by December 2022 and earned us US dollars 1 billion in the calendar year 2022.
Yes, well, that's the president addressing the aspect of tourism. Well, Masi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Uganda, East Africa, and the entire globe, of course. As yesterday, we were actually listening into the State of the Nation address by the president, and of course, he tackled something to do with tourism and, of course, investment. And, of course, we anticipate actually that we are going to grow in terms of tourism in coming years. Because, I mean, if we invest a lot in it, because he said something that actually Ugandans, the group, he called it the middle class people are starting to visit the
game parks.
The game parks, so that means domestic tourism is actually improving with time, and I hope more people should actually get time and go and support us as a country so that we grow this thing.
Actually, even talked about that aspect of construction of airstrips to ease mobility of tourists, because majority of them take a long time on road trying to access the different tour destinations. But anyway, let us see how realistic that will be for the coming year 2023, 2024, but definitely according to what was said, it really portrays something very huge. And of course, investment in the tourism sector will be a key aspect in terms of attracting more tourists and of course increasing foreign revenue, leading to economic growth and development. Well, now let's get into the press and take a look at what's making headlines there. The New Vision and the Daily Monitor just with us here, and we shall be going through to see what is really transparent. Now, starting off with the New Vision here, of course, on the top page, clearly as about the president outlining successes, opportunities from his State of the Nation's address, and definitely we see that the economy is to grow at a rate of 7%, and of course, when lots of breakdowns were done in here. And we still see further here that General Mohozi is in Somalia, of course, following the attacks that happened in there. And Parliament to monitor MPs and ministers' performance. All these on the top page here, and you will be able to access more details when you saw a copy of the New Vision. Master, what do we have there?
Oh, well, me having the Daily Monitor, Museveni U.S. envoy discuss the anti-gay law, and that is President launches a diplomatic charm offensive, arguing that the West's uproar and actions of the Anti-Homosexuality Act that he signed into law in May, on May 26th, were distortions and misrepresentation, not facts. Okay. I don't know that, and of course, a ministry vehicle used in robbery, rape crimes. And of course, our very own, as we pay tribute to the late Kachuru Gwama, a former member of Parliament of Lubaga South.
Okay. Now here in further, as we dwell deeper, that is into the New Vision, we see still further aspects related to economic growth and development, as growth attributed to economic stability as a result of low inflation. And of course, also establishment of more manufacturing plants, looking at all that. But of course, there is quite a huge breakdown of the details regarding economic growth and development, which you will be in position to access when you get your copy of the New Vision.
Well, government ring-fences doctors' internship for the rich. That is according to Ghana Medical. Government ring-fences doctors' internship for the rich. Okay. So the permanent secretary for Ministry of Health, that is TUES, Diana, said that internship will be for those that can afford it.
Internship will be for those but that's quite...
I know it's a heavy statement, but of course... facilitation, because they say they will not facilitate and they will not give them funds.
Don't give them funds.
Yes, so definitely, if you want to do internship, you have to be able to facilitate yourself. That is according to the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Health, Dr. Dana Twine.
All right, let's see how that really transpires out there. Now here Museveni clarifies on the anti-homosexuality law. Of course, he made that clear details. Actually, I remember when he was giving the speech, when he said that you being a homosexual is not a problem, and it's not a crime, as long as you're taking efforts to undergo evaluation, to make, because it's as a result of as being a psychiatric disorder in that way. But as long as you're undergoing treatment and you're undergoing the right consultation, well, it is okay. The state has no issue with you. But now the issue will be rotating around you promoting it, recruiting people to join you, to be like you. And where I say that you will be serving the punishment not less than post 20 years. But if you go ahead to commit a crime, an offense like raping someone, well, you can even go as far as a death sentence. So, of course, more of those aspects, he said, of course, we'll be calling the members of parliament to amend some of the aspects. But he emphasized that we should maintain the substance, which is within the law. Now, still here, we see that Uganda's education should be free, says Museveni. Some of the aspects that he mentioned about. You remember when we see when the NRM came, it put out the UPE and the USE, which was supposed to be free education for the people that can afford. But now it came to a point whereby some of these government schools are charging a certain amount of fees, which the president says is not right, and they're going to effectively monitor this to ensure that actually these schools don't charge the students, the pupils that go to attend.
They are zero fees.
Zero fees, yeah.
Wow, that's
Zero
interesting.
fees.
Because I usually go out to some of the public schools, government schools, and of course you find a student is paying 100,000 for a parent. Oh, that's too much for a parent who can't really afford that amount. Is too much, so they pay in installments, and of course they can't have the payments done in time. Of course, President Museveni orders SFC to help fix city potholes. This is just really, there is something he's mentioned about subsidies, the fuel.
Fuel subsidies.
Yeah, of course, he attributed it to the fact that now Ugandans are using it as an opportunity to get drunk and cause accidents on roads. So he's looking into maybe to look into the fuel subsidies, because he says fuel has reduced.
Yeah, the prices are
so please make sure you use your cars properly. Don't cause accidents so that they don't remove these subsidies.
All right, now of course here the parliament monitor MPs and ministers' performance in committees. That's in the plenary. So we shall be finding more details regarding that aspect. Of course, productivity, a very key aspect, which has been quite a great concern. Actually, some key stakeholders were coming out to say that, why are some of those people earning this money? They're earning this money for free. They're not working for free. And now there ought to be an evaluation aspect to monitor your performance, and that will be something very instrumental. Now here, still further in the new vision with President Museveni, where he says that a strong foundation has been built that is for rapid economic growth. And some of the key factors he pointed out from this aspect was the establishment of the rightful policies, yes, which favor investment and so many other activities that are related into that perspective. What do we have there in the Daily Monitor?
President sidesteps cost of living and promises growth. And of course, as you can see, quite a number of MPs had positive comments in this State of Nation address this year. And of course, he mentioned about anti-gay, and of course he mentioned some things that people actually really expected. And of course people were happy at the end of the day. Security, I mean, that's really...
when he was winding up, he mentioned about the aspect of the cattle raiders in the north.
Oh, yeah.
And I also mentioned the aspects of some of them coming in from the Turkana region. And recently they signed a defense memorandum of understanding with the Kenyan Defense Forces as one of the ways to strengthen security. But still, in that treaty, there was the aspect of disarmament, disarming the raiders. And President Museveni actually happened to really, he's doing quite a great job regarding that security, saving the northern people from cattle raiding. Because that's their source of income, and once they are raided, well, it's never something right. Well, now as we cross over and take a look at what's happening into the world of traffic, of course, what you're observing there is the fairway traffic lights, looking at the traffic atmosphere there. And according to the observation there, it might seem a little congested, but of course, let's have a clear picture of the entire area. But those are just the vehicles that are coming in from Kampala, connecting all the way to Yusuf Lule, and of course they are heading all the way straight to Awanaga, majority, depending Some are sloping down to the John Wariha Avenue, which will be linking down to the Acacia Mall, and of course to the areas of Kancha Street. Then some, of course, will proceed to Wandagea, Mulago, and so many of the other related destinations. Well, but according to the look of things, like I always say, there is jam that is static, but there is jam that is in motion. Now this one is okay. You could just be patient a little bit enough, and I guarantee you that you will be able to reach in the required time that you ought to reach. Yes, according to what we are observing here at the fairway traffic lights. Of course, taking a look at the route, that is the John Wariha route. Yes, it's really slightly congested. You can just be a little bit patient. It's the traffic lights, and I've not seen the traffic officers yet, but I believe there could be one there. But according to the look of things, the entire situation, the entire environment is quite very calm. So, and you know, the fact that, yes, I know it was the children were back to school, but now the situation has calmed down. It was only the other week where there was a lot of panic and rushing, not taking back children to school. But now, this week, it has calmed down, and that's why you see it's quite very free. You can see the Yusufule road connecting all the way to Wandagea. It's very free. And of course, seeing a few vehicles that are coming in from Lago, yes, the fleet you're observing there is largely coming in from the Lago roundabout because it normally has quite loads of, you know, it's mainly so congested in there. So that's why you can see quite a number of vehicles. But despite the fact, it's very okay. So if you're coming in from Lago, if you're a resident of Mulago, you're a resident of Kamocha, and even Makere, you are a resident of places like Kasubi, and probably you want to come and execute business in town. Well, if you are going to use this destination, I'll guarantee that it's going to be quite very affordable for you, and you won't really waste time in jam. And you know, this is the more you delay in jam, there is some economic aspect into it because of the fuel, which is really spared quite a lot. But now this route, it's not going to delay you that much. You will stay quite in a few, you will spend just a few minutes if you just be patient enough. Then you'll be able to reach your destination. You can take a look yourself there. It's very free for the people. Quite a few pedestrians and a few border orders in here driving the passengers to the different destinations. But according to the look here, it's very calm, as you can really observe. But of course, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be on time, because on such times, at such an hour, at such minutes, it might seem that way, but you never know what it's going to be like in the coming 20, 30 minutes, you know. But it's free. Now that's the Nakasero route, as we're observing. It's always a free route, and of course seeing quite a few vehicles coming in from there, and they are heading towards the different destinations. Some, of course, are crossing all the way to the John Wariha route. Some are continuing to other destinations. Of course, a few taxis, Nakasero route, and actually some vehicles use this as a shortcut, and they connect to the Wandagea junction. Yes, they connect to the Wandagea junction when they use this fairway route. You know, that route near adjacent to the Fairway Hotel. But of course, some, if you don't, your destiny is not in that line, you can just still use this route where you see those taxis. That's the Nakasero route, and you can continue in case you are really on time to reach the city center. Of course, seeing a few vehicles coming in from that route, Nakasero route, heading to the different destinations, but it's always a free route for anybody to use. Of course, we know that the Nakasero area is more the corporate area, and so many companies have offices in there. Corporate organizations in the country have offices there, and that explains. So it's not a residential in that perspective, unlike in other areas which have both business-related projects and also accommodation. You know, people stay there, but also some people have offices there. So definitely in such areas there is absolute congestion. Yes, but of course, even some of the vehicles that use this Nakasero route, it's just a shortcut to link to the city center. Just in case you don't want to, you know, go all around to the Wandagea, then rotate then in towards the city center. it can seem to be quite very, very hectic there. Well, now, as we switch our eyes back to the Yusuf Relay route, it's, of course, according to the look of things, it might seem a bit congested, but it's moving. It's actually moving. If you can be just patient, I can guarantee that the maximum time you will spend there is just five minutes, according to my estimations in here. There is jam that is static, but there is jam that can move, you know. Of course, on your view, when you take a look, it's deceptive. You might think it's static, but it's moving, just like as you observe it there. It has barely even spent, took more than 3 minutes, but before you know it, you can see there is a calmness on the route. So that's what exactly I'm trying to explain here. Well, that is it for the traffic updates this morning. Well, it's 27 minutes past 7, and now we're going to get into a short commercial break, and when we return, of course, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the East African bloc, and also winding it up with the international business-related news. Good morning.